Good morning. In the last lecture, we talked about syllabus of basic electronics, and I think yesterday I also told about semiconductor material. Semiconductor material is that which has conductivity or resistivity in between good conductors and bad conductors. All semiconductors are unique materials. Why these are unique materials? These are unique materials because they are of NTC type in nature. Only semiconductors are NTC type in nature. That is, they have negative temperature coefficient of resistance. Other thing that I told about the semiconductors is the conductivity of semiconductors can be increased by adding proper impurity to a pure semiconductor, which is very appreciable. Because of this property, the doped semiconductors are used in most of the recent devices for fabrication of various types of components. One more important property of semiconductors is the presence of holes. Because of presence of holes, we can have the current due to holes. Now, the next article is types of semiconductors. Basically, there are two types of semiconductors. Basically, there are two types of semiconductors. The first category of semiconductors is intrinsic semiconductor. Second category of semiconductors is extrinsic semiconductor. Today we shall talk about intrinsic semiconductor. Types of semiconductors may require 3 or 4 lectures. In this lecture we shall talk about intrinsic semiconductor. In the next lecture we shall go for extrinsic semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductors further divided into 2 categories: N type of semiconductor and P type of semiconductor. We shall discuss them in detail in the next lecture. Let me first talk about the intrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductor is defined as the semiconductor in its pure form. Whenever a semiconductor is made available in pure form, there is no impurity at all. It will be the purest form. That type of semiconductor is known as intrinsic semiconductor. So, you may define intrinsic semiconductor as a semiconductor which is in pure form. Yesterday I told that many semiconductors are available in nature. From these, the popularly used semiconductors for fabrication of various devices, various instruments are germanium and silicon. Now, the question may arise in your mind that why germanium and silicon are popularly used? Why not other semiconductors used for fabrication of the various electronic devices? The reason is the band gap. The band gap of germanium is about 0.7 electron volt and the band gap of silicon is about 1.1 electron volt. 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. 0.7 electron volt, 1.1 electron volt. This is for germanium. This is for silicon. What is meaning that band gap of germanium is 0.7 electron volt and band gap of silicon is 1.1 electron volt? For conduction of electrical current, we need free electrons. The outermost cell in any atom of any material, maybe semiconductor, insulator, band conductor, etc., is valence cell or valence band. The electrons in the valence band are bound with the valence band of the material because of certain binding energy. This binding energy is due to the covalent bonding. Covalent bonding is present in all semiconductors. The energy required to break the covalent bond in the valence band and to make it free to jump in the conduction band. Whenever the electrons breaks the covalent bond and jumps to the conduction band, we say that the electron is made free. Whenever the electron is in the conduction band, then only it is considered as free electron. If it is not in the conduction band, it is not considered as free electron. In case of germanium, if you provide 0.7 electron volt energy to the electron in the valence band, it can break the covalent bond with which it is bound with the valence band of the material and can jump to the conduction band. This much energy is only required for making an electron as a free electron in case of germanium. Whereas in case of silicon, 1.1 electron volt amount of energy is required to make the electron free. That is to break the covalent bond with which the electron is bound with the material in the valence band. This energy and this energy is very small. If you go for other semiconductors, the energy required to make an electron free from the valence band so that it can jump to the conduction band is much large as compared to 0.7 electron volts and 1.1 electron volt. Because of this reason, germanium and silicon are popularly used as semiconductors for fabrication of various electronic components, various electronic ICs. Most of the electronic components are fabricated using these semiconductors, and therefore germanium and silicon are popularly used as semiconductors practically in almost all fields. Let us see how is the nature of the covalent bond in case of intrinsic semiconductors. Atomic number of germanium is 32 and that of silicon is 14. Electrons in the germanium atom will be equal to 32. Every germanium atom will have 32 electrons. Every silicon atom will have 14 electrons. These electrons in germanium and in silicon are distributed among different orbits, among different cells. And the formula used for distribution of these electrons is 2m square, where n is the orbit number. In the first orbit, if we put n is equal to 1, 1 square is 1, 2 into 1 is 2. First orbit will have only 2 electrons. When you go to second orbit, you have to put n is equal to 2, 2 to the power 2 is 4, 4 into 2, that will be 8. If you go for third orbit, 3 to the power 2, 3 3s are 9, 9 into 2, 18. If you go for fourth orbit, 4 to the power 2, 4 4s are 16, 16 into 2, 32. This way, the electrons are distributed among different cells or orbits of an atom in every material. This formula is always applicable for distribution of electrons. Let us apply this formula and this distribution to germanium and to silicon. Germanium has 32 electrons, 2 plus 8, 10. Okay, and 10 plus 18, 28. 32 minus 28 is equal to 4. It means that in the last orbit, in the fourth orbit, for germanium, these 4 electrons are present in the fourth orbit. The fourth orbit for germanium is valence orbit or valence cell. When the orbits due to all atoms, when the valence orbit due to all atoms of germanium are considered, that will give rise to valence band. In valence band, number of electrons per atom in germanium is equal to 4. Let us apply the same thing to silicon. 2 plus 8, 10. 14 minus 10 is equal to 4. So in the third orbit, instead of 18, only 4 electrons are left. For silicon, in the third orbit, only 4 electrons are left. What is the capacity of third orbit? 18 electrons. Instead of 18, only 4 are present. In case of germanium, The last orbit is fourth orbit. Its capacity is of 32 electrons. It can accommodate 32 electrons, but only 4 electrons are present. These 4 electrons are much away from the nucleus of germanium because these 4 electrons are present in the fourth orbit. Whereas in case of silicon, these 4 electrons are present in the third orbit. The electrons in the third orbit are more near to the nucleus than the electrons in the fourth orbit. The electrons which are more nearer to nucleus will have more binding energy. The electrons which are far away from the nucleus will have less binding energy, and therefore binding energy of germanium, as these 4 electrons are much away in the fourth orbit from the nucleus, is only 0.7 electron volt. Whereas these 4 electrons in silicon are present in the third orbit near to the nucleus as compared to germanium, and therefore they are bound with the nucleus with more binding energy, that is 1.1 electron volt. This is the reason why germanium has 0.7 electron volt binding energy, or why germanium needs 0.7 electron volt energy to make an electron free, and why silicon needs 1.1 electron volt of energy to make an electron free. One more thing that you can observe here is valence electrons in germanium are 4 in number. Valence electrons in silicon are also 4 in number. So, one more property of semiconductors is the valency is 4. Valency of the semiconductors is 4. 4 electrons are present. 4 electrons are present in the valence orbit. And therefore, the valence orbit or valence shell is unstable. To acquire stability, the last shell of any atom needs at least 8 electrons. It means that germanium is short of 4 electrons to complete the octet of valence shell. Silicon is also short of 4 electrons to complete the octet in the valence of the valence shell or valence bond. To get the stability, these 4 electrons will form covalent bond with neighboring 4 electrons. These 4 electrons will also form covalent bond with neighboring electrons. Let us see how covalent bonds are formed by these 4 electrons and these 4 electrons. For simplicity, let me consider example of silicon. This is. These are the interatomic distances. Distance between the neighboring atoms. Okay. Now let us consider last shell of this silicon. It will have 4 free electrons. This will also have 4 valence electrons, not free. All these silicon atoms will have 4 valence electrons. This is the crystal structure of silicon. Same is the crystal structure of germanium. Every silicon atom in this crystal structure has 4 electrons in the valence shell. So all the atoms are unstable and they try to get stability. To get stability, what will they do? This electron will form covalent bond with this electron. Similarly, this electron will form covalent bond with this electron of silicon atom here. The same is true for this. This is the crystal structure of silicon. The same will be the crystal structure of germanium. Silicon atom. So all silicon atoms. Let me consider this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This silicon atom now has 8 electrons in the valence shell, in the valence orbit. Octet is completed, so it becomes stable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This silicon atom now also has 8 electrons in the valence band, and so it also acquires stability. This way, by forming covalent bond with the 4 neighbors, this silicon atom has this one as neighbors. It will form one covalent bond with this neighbor, one covalent bond with the second neighbor, one covalent bond with the third neighbor, one covalent bond with the fourth neighbor. This space is common to this atom, this atom. This space is common to this atom, this atom. This space is common to this atom and this atom. This space is common to this atom and this atom. Therefore, these 2 electrons simultaneously behave as electrons of this atom as well as electrons of this atom. These 2 electrons will behave as electrons of this atom as well as electrons of this atom. These 2 electrons will also behave as electrons of this atom as well as electrons of this atom. These 2 electrons will behave as electrons of this atom as well as electrons of this atom. The covalent bonding is such that covalent bond is always formed by sharing equal number of electrons between 2 atoms. Sharing, electrons are shared. Sharing of electrons, sharing of equal number of electrons between 2 atoms give rise to covalent bond. So there will be formation of such covalent bonds, and because of formation of this covalent bonds, electrons are shared between various atoms, and every atom in this crystal structure will behave as if it has 8 electrons in its valence shell, in its valence band or valence shell or valence orbit, and therefore the atoms in this crystal structure will have acquired the stability. Now, let us supply some energy to this crystal structure. It is in pure form. This is silicon crystal structure. It has only silicon atoms. Other atoms are not present in this crystal structure. So this is pure silicon. This silicon is in purest form because this crystal structure has only silicons. No other foreign atom is allowed to lie in this crystal structure, and therefore this is purest form of the semiconductor. Therefore we can call this semiconductor as intrinsic semiconductor. Now, at room temperature, certain thermal energy is received by the silicon crystal structure. The same is true for germanium crystal structure. Because of this thermal energy, what will happen? If this electron is loosely bound here, and the energy acquired by this electron at room temperature is greater than equal to 1.1 electron volt, it will break the covalent bond, will jump to the conduction band. If energy acquired by this electron from outside at room temperature is more than 1.1 electron volt, it will break the covalent bond and jump from valence band to conduction band. A hole is shown here. This hole is corresponding to vacancy of an electron. Now, this covalent bond is broken and this electron is made free, and here is deficiency of one electron for completion of this covalent bond. The deficiency of an electron in the covalent bond is known as hole. This is electron and this is hole. The deficiency of an electron in the valence band, in the valence state, is known as hole. So at room temperature there may be many such electrons which may get energy more greater than or equal to 1.1 electron volt, and all such electrons will get free. They will jump from valence band to conduction band, and therefore at room temperature the intrinsic semiconductor will have few free electrons and few holes. The free electrons are good conductors of electricity and therefore they will conduct the electric current. Holes, which is the deficiency of an electron, are positive in sign. They will be positive charges. These deficiencies, these holes are considered as free positive charges in the intrinsic semiconductor. And therefore, if we apply electric field to an intrinsic semiconductor at room temperature, there will be flow of current through the intrinsic semiconductor. Let me show this with the help of a diagram. Let us suppose this is a piece of intrinsic semiconductor. This is a piece of intrinsic semiconductor, and let us apply This is intrinsic semiconductor. Let us apply electric field. This is a battery. Maybe a voltage V. Positive terminal of battery is connected to the left end of the semiconductor. Negative terminal of the battery is connected to right end of the semiconductor. And let us suppose that these are the electrons, which are free electrons. Number of free electrons in an intrinsic semiconductor will be equal to number of holes. Number of free electrons in an intrinsic semiconductor is always equal to number of holes. Now, electrons are negative in charge, holes are positive in charge. This side is positive, this side is negative. So this side will repel the electrons and this side will attract the electrons, and therefore electrons will move in this direction. Because of the type of electric field we applied here, this end of the semiconductor will repel the electrons, this end of the semiconductor will attract the electrons, and therefore electrons will move in this direction, whereas holes will move in this direction. Why holes move in this direction? Because holes are positive in charge. This side is negative, this side is positive. This positive side will repel the holes away from it, whereas negative side will attract the holes towards it. And therefore holes will move in this direction, electrons will move in this direction. What is definition of electrical current? Definition of electrical current is flow of charges in a particular direction. So, the current is due to free electrons, the current is also due to holes. If we consider the current in the circuit, external circuit, current in the external circuit is only due to electrons. There is no current in the external circuit due to holes. Why? This is because whenever these holes come at this end, this is negative, many electrons may be here, making this side negative. And when these holes are reaching this end, the electron will get combined with this hole, with this hole, with this hole, with this hole, with this hole. Whenever electrons from the negative side get recombined with the holes will be neutralized. Hole is positive charge, electron is negative charge. There is a combination of the negative and positive charge. Negative and positive charge and combined together, the net charge will be 0. And if net charge is 0, it will be neutral. Electrons will flow through the outer circuit. They may get recombined here. Okay, and therefore the current in the external circuit is only due to electrons. But current in the intrinsic semiconductor is due to electrons as well as due to holes. This way, we can have electrical current which is flowing through the intrinsic semiconductor because of thermally generated free electron hole pairs. One pair, second pair, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. There may be very large number of this thermally generated electron hole pairs, and therefore the current is flowing through the intrinsic semiconductor due to free electrons and due to holes. In practice, we find that number of free electrons and number of holes in an intrinsic semiconductor are few in number. The number of electrons may not provide the need of required electrical current to perform certain work, and therefore intrinsic semiconductors are not used for fabrication of any electronic component, any electronic device, because its conductivity is smaller, is limited. As conductivity of intrinsic semiconductor is limited, it is smaller. Intrinsic semiconductors are not used for fabrication of electronic devices or electronic components. This is about the intrinsic semiconductors, the first type of semiconductors. In the next lecture, we shall talk about extrinsic semiconductor. It may need 2 or more than 2 lectures. Hope you understood it. Thank you.